hosts, Imran Poladi, Tim Big Shep Shepler, and Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason. Cheerio, Rice Krispie. Yeah, welcome in. Thanks for joining us for the first True Sports Card Show of the new year. Where is Imran Poladi, Tim Shepler?
Where in the world is Imran Poladi? He is at a card show in the Bay Area. There's two this weekend, one in San Francisco and one in Concord, and we went to Concord. But I did get a great call from him this morning.
Yeah?
Saying, hey, you know, when you go to a card show, I said, yeah, the guy's got all the stuff ready for you yesterday. He said, yeah, I picked it all up. He goes, but I didn't want to keep the cards in the van overnight. A smart move. He goes, I was going to pick them up in the morning on the way out of town, and I drove to Concord and realized I didn't stop by the shop to grab the cards. So we're currently at a card show without cards. So he's going around buying as many as he can to make it look like we have cards to sell. So if you're headed that way, Imran's desperate need of your cards and your collectibles to fill our table at a show.
That's unfortunate, but I'm sure he's buoyed by the beam and the fact that the Kings are playing better now. And
I think
a long time Kings
was a
fan,
3-game winning streak now.
Yeah,
I like it. 3-1 under DC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And being out there last night, I mean, there's so much more energy, and I swear it looks like the last two games, it's almost, Tim, like they have a home court advantage.
I remember the old Arco days, right?
Yeah.
And you get that feel. I felt that one time being out of Golden One. It was in that playoff run, or that first season when we had we made the plan, and I got to feel a little bit, but yeah, it's hopefully it'll come back. I was looking in the hallway of all the old season posters the Kings used to give out that are hanging in the hallways here, and we had as season ticket holders in the good old days, right?
Yeah,
and I'd love to see this team. I believed that 3 years ago this was going to be that next generation. It pointed out like, hey, we got our new Vlade is a better version in Sabonis, right? And we were getting all these pieces and they were coming together. It's just kind of stalemated, and I think we're waiting for that next breakthrough. And maybe this is what it is, a little refresh, and we'll see what happens.
Do we have an issue with Tim's mic? It sounds a little muffled, or are we? Yeah.
There we go. Is that a little better?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Right in that sweet spot.
There we go.
Yeah. I got to point this out. I had the privilege of being in your store a couple days last week, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And you guys have this sale. Hopefully it's still going on, the Hot Corner sale, which is in the corner, far left corner of stores. You come in and you got a lot of football, basketball, baseball singles. 75% off.
Yeah,
I went
crazy.
I went in there and spent a lot more time than I should have.
Yeah.
And I ended up with a fistful of cards. Like, these are nice cards for my collection. Please tell me that sale is continuing.
At least I can guarantee through today. Looks like we're going to be, it's been awesome. And we've been going through a ton of inventory. So people going like, what happened to all the cards? Well, we're revamping the Hot Corner. It's been 3 years now that we've been open, and over time, like, we can't go back through, over 500,000 cards on a, regular occasion and reprice stuff. So unfortunately, sometimes there are cards out there that might have, old pricing on it. So we're like, you know what? Hey, let's put these on sale this week. Or, we've had sales throughout the month, which has been great. But to push it through the end of the year, I bumped up the percentage off to kind of do a little blowout, let us re-clean. And we're going to be sorting all the cards now in the Hot Corner by team. So unfortunately, if you're a Dodger fan, you're going to be able to come over and there's going to be Dodger bins to go through. If you're a Vikings fan, there's going to be Vikings box you can go through now. So we're working on that. And right now we're just kind of cleaning up some of the old inventory, and we're going to hopefully debut that. I believe Wednesday is been the date I've been given to have the new Hot Corner up and ready. And I'm trying to get it done before then. And so that 75% off is at least good through today. It might be tomorrow, but we'll see what happens as far as just inventory available at that price point. So it's been selling very quickly, which is great. Yes. I love it.
And like you say, people are going through a lot of cards, but I was there just a few days ago and there was a lot of really nice stuff. I was looking for some Tatis stuff and I found a lot of it. And I apologize, I just lost my audio. I tried to adjust my screen and I lost it. So I forget exactly who was just asking this, but somebody was asking on the YouTube chat, how many Doug Christies do you have in the Hot Corner?
It was Christopher. Probably a few. Not many, just because of the of when he played and the availability at like his early stuff when he was a youngster was in that junk wax era spot. And then as he played for the Kings, that was a kind of a dark ages for collecting. So there isn't a ton of stuff in that era that pops through, but there's probably a handful in there. So
yeah, well,
we're going to be sorting them out, and you'll be able to come in and grab the Kings box and dig through and find some DC, maybe some DC
cards. Go there and grab a box, and you go sit at a table if you like,
Make
and go
yourself
through
a home.
them. And
People were shocked by that.
75% off.
Yeah. People are shocked by that, though. The fact that we have the tables and that you can come and sit down. I'm like, make yourself at home. And they're like, oh, what? And this is 3 years. And it's like, yeah, you guys can hang out with us and spend time and BS. Now we just have people come in and talk sports with us and then they leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll come in, talk Kings talk a little bit or whatever's going on. And then it's like, cool. Oh, you're not buying any cards? Oh, I just want to come by and, you know.
It's kind of like what people think of when they talk about like the Cheers bar in a way, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, we do. We have, and there's, I try to remember most people's names and, you know, I try to say their name when they come in the shop. So there's a lot of that. Hey, Todd, you know, hey, Mike, you know, all that stuff when customers come in. So.
And you also have a lot in the display case.
Oh, yeah.
I am currently trying to finish 1987-88 Fleer basketball. And I've seen some stuff in there that you guys have had. But I was in there last week and it's like, whoa, there's AC Green's rookie card from that year. And there's Larry Bird and there's Isaiah Thomas. There's Karl Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's like, these are cards that I've been looking for that you had. You got a ton of stuff in there now.
Yeah, no, definitely. We try to always keep it stocked. And that's why we're at these shows and why we're always open for drop-in buyers to come by. You also can go to truesportscards.com and make an appointment with us and set time aside to come in and sell your cards and collectibles. We're always looking to add inventory. And that's, you know, everybody goes, how do you get these cards? Are you buying them online? I said, no, majority of it's walk in or us going to shows. And we go through inventory so fast that I'll be off on a Friday. We'll buy a card on Friday. I'll come in Saturday morning, you know, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, where's that card? Oh, it sold yesterday. I'm like, we put it on Instagram like 6 hours ago. They're like, oh yeah, somebody called and bought it.
Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've started doing that more and more of like cool cards that come in that are going to go to the case. Hey, here's some new stuff we're going to show off. And then Emmerich gets blown up and then we're getting like messages. Hey, I want to take that card. Set that card aside for me. I'm on my way down. Can you put that down? And it's incredible how fast some of these cards move for us. And it just shows that, you know, we made some good connections in the community over the last few years.
Yeah. To me, Tim, it speaks to also the fact that your reputation and your reviews are so strong that, and this is a fact. I'm not, you know, just sugarcoating anything. People drive from what? From Milwaukee, you said? I know we told that story. Someone drove from Milwaukee to your store with some euchre stuff because, we just heard good things about your store.
Yeah. They legitimately, and then we sold one of the cards back to Milwaukee.
So really?
It's weird. It's like that card would have sold, right? You know, but hey, you know, no, and that to me is like, oh wow, like that's incredible to me that we have people like, I mean, like we have a customer that comes down from Eureka probably once a month, and he's a former professor, and he comes down and he'll sit and hang out with us. He'll be there at 11. And then he leaves. We close at 7. He's cashing out at 6:45. He might go eat lunch next door, but come back and he goes through and, you know, goes through the boxes and has a good time and just loves collecting. And sometimes he'll bring his grandson with him, and it's great. And we just chat about cards. I mean, to somebody that spends a whole full day of their life just hanging out in the shop, going through cards, and like we've built like that, to me is that's pretty incredible. So
yeah, and it's fun.
Oh, it is.
Time kind of stands still when you're in your store.
Yeah.
Like I said, because you're in there, and then I realized, man, I've been in here a long time.
Oh,
I have things I need to do.
Yeah, and it got wild the other day when Arizona State was playing Texas, and they were down. There was like 17.
I was in there that day.
Right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden I look up, and the game's tied. And I'm like, well, what happened? And they're like, Scadaboo's killing it, and now everybody's frozen, and we're watching this game, and you kind of get to experience it together, and it's like, man, we're doing cards. We're watching a great game. We're rooting a kid on from Sacramento that's playing out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, you know, and then it's like, it's not really work, right? We talked about that before, you know, being able to do the radio and doing cards is like, it's fun and outstanding, but there is work involved in it. But there are those moments where it's not work and you're getting paid to have some fun and pure enjoyment, you know, which is great. And we have one of those nights coming up. February 22nd, we're gonna have a Topps Rip Night at the shop. So Fanatics is providing a bunch of stuff for us to give away and do for a Topps Rip Night. We'll have a trade night corresponding with it.
What does that mean exactly? Pardon my ignorance.
Yeah,
Topps Rip Night.
Yeah, so it's a new thing since Fanatics has taken over to kind of like celebrate the hobby. They'll send us swag, you know, shirts and different giveaways like tchotchkes and stuff to give away, but they also send us packs of cards that are limited just for that Rip Night. There's autographs, there's parallels in there, so some really cool stuff that they just want to give back to the hobby, and they want to build a community, because before not a lot of shops did trade nights, and it's kind of a newer, the Card Shop 2.0 we've talked about over the last handful of years, and that's what we're trying to be an add-on to versus the old, ways of the 80s, the old grumpy guy behind the counter. It's now a more inclusive environment.
Emron's kind of grumpy sometimes.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he is an old man, so let's start there. But it's that inclusiveness of, hey, come and meet people in your local community that also are into this that you might not know, and you watch those friendships start to bloom. And
sure.
And so it's a lot of fun. I know Topps has sent out like athletes. We've seen like they sent Tom Brady out to a couple spots when they've done these rib nights. They've sent out Victor Wembanyama. Usually it's an athlete local to the area to go and spend an hour and do something with that. So not sure if we're that lucky to get a superstar. But
so it's a possibility?
It could be. I have no idea. Right. But Emron also talked about us doing something on our own with all of our connections with athletes about maybe doing something. But what I can guarantee you is that the Topps Rib Nights are always fun. It's a accelerated trade night because we're gonna have we're gonna infuse with tons of giveaways from Topps with packs. But our normal trade night of 100 and 120 people coming to hang out throughout the night, get out the shop all hot and steamy, which is great in February.
Say so?
Yeah, and it starts to smell like a locker room, but it's a lot of fun and a lot of wheeling and dealing happens with us and also the customers between each other. New friendships are made. So I'm
just saying February 22nd is Julius Erving's birthday. So maybe he's got other stuff he's doing.
Maybe we'll have orange juice. We'll pour out for everybody.
It was so cool last night watching the Kings beating Memphis. Memphis was wearing their 1975 ABA Memphis Sounds throwbacks.
There we go.
So awesome.
By the way, the ABA, like the USFL, had some of the coolest names and jerseys out there. And I kind of wish the stodgy NBA and NFL at the time, would have been more open to some of the things that they were doing.
Right.
And I think if that kind of a league happened now, that the league might be more responsive, but just interesting to go back and see, if those leagues had actually made it, what it would have been like in the world. So
yeah. That's one of the reasons I like collecting vintage basketball. You got pictures of guys and they're holding like, whoa, dude, that's a red, white, and blue ball.
Yeah.
I've always thought that, or not always, but I think it'd be cool if, some of the teams, there's 4 teams in the NBA that were in the ABA. When they play each other, even just in the preseason, use the red, white, and blue ball.
Please.
People would love it.
That would be so cool. And I've gotten, luckily enough in my life, spend time with Artis Gilmore and Dan Issel. They were on the Kentucky Colonels, who to Hubie Brooks said was the
Hubie Brown.
Hubie Brown said it was the best basketball team ever that he coached in the ABA that won the title. And you had it's just to have them tell the stories about the old ABA is phenomenal. There is a really good book,
Loose Balls by
Terry
Pluto.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Great book on the ABA. Highly recommend if you want, but just the stories and how those guys traveled and how they got traded to teams. And it was like the wild, wild west.
Oh,
you think the NIL is wild right now in college football and basketball? The ABA and the way they added players and they moved around and all of a sudden, like, the dispersal draft and how guys went from, the teams that weren't going into the NBA and how they got to where they were going is pretty insane. So
3-point line, the ABA adopted that.
Dunk contest.
Yeah. You talk about the Wild West. There was one year, guy named, I think his name is Freddie Lewis at the All-Star game. He wins the MVP award and they gave him a horse. That was what he got. And the horse died.
Oh,
wait, when?
I think that was 76.
At the 76 All-Star game, and the horse died.
The horse died later.
But like a day later?
I'm not sure. I'll check on that. Will Ferrell had the kind of the movie version of that.
Yeah,
actually, real life was stranger, I think,
than what that movie was.
Yeah.
I could see that being like almost like a documentary to what the ABA was, right? Like, it was wild like that. Like they would trade guys for laundry machines, washing machines. Like, you got traded for a washing machine and some detergent. Like, that's what happened.
I know you have a lot of stuff to get. I have one more basketball question
let's do it.
Based on what I saw last night. And I know, seeing Zach Edey playing, and I know you were a big Zach Edey guy. Emron was a big Zach Edey guy. We had Jerry Reynolds on with the Drive Guys yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I like that guy." He said, "I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but he's a good player." Anyway, watching him play last night again got me wondering about when the new basketball cards are going to be out.
Yes,
and I saw a couple of dates today, and I don't know if they're accurate. I wanted to run them by you because I saw today online. Hoops January 17th, and NBA Prism January 29th, which seems really early to me. Does that make any sense? Is there any chance that those are accurate?
It looks like I'm looking here through the dates of when everything's coming out, and Hoops now doesn't have a date.
Oh, okay.
It was January 17th, and the reason I know that is because I counted how many games the Kings played before that released.
Oh, really?
41 games. How do you have your first product of the year come out halfway through the season?
Mm-hmm.
The first product.
Right. Well,
halfway through the season.
Wasn't initially the story was, well, because of the pandemic, everything got slowed down. So, but we're
5 years. We're
that.
almost 5 years removed. I mean, can you believe 5 years removed from the pandemic in March of 2020? Yeah, and I'm looking here, and Prism, Prism WNBA is on this list for TBD, January 2025. Sorry. So I just
there's still new 23-24 product rolling out,
yeah,
right?
23-24 NT National Treasures basketball slated for January 8th. So 4 days from now. So we'll see. That should be good, but you also have Contenders Optic basketball coming out on the 10th. So 2 big basketball releases looks like next week.
I love Contenders Optic, but it's pricey.
Yes. But my thing is like, guys, come on. Panini's losing the license, and I think they're trying to hold on to as much of it as they can through and try to delay these dates to try to optimize their ability to sell basketball and football cards. Because as you know, at the end of the 25 seasons, they lose the NBA and the NFL to Fanatics and Topps.
Emron was saying that Panini may have some production issues because Fanatics actually bought the factory.
The Prince, the Chrome stuff. So all the shininess that you get from cards, Topps bought that facility, or Fanatics bought that facility. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Yeah, we'll print your stuff when you need to.
Right.
But Hoops isn't shiny. So that's my thing. Majority of it's paper or foil board. So we'll see what happens. But, it upsets me that we have to wait halfway through the basketball season to get cards. And again, imagine just Zach Edey on this Kings team. Just saying.
Well, they didn't have a chance.
They didn't have a chance, but I remember calling in to talk to you and Kyle, and I was like, we should draft Zach Edey and Bronny James and just take the 2 biggest names and circuses in town and just go, hey, we're bringing these guys here. Like the old Kings would have done that. The Maloof Kings would have done that. That's who they would have. They like when they got Jimmer, right? It was like he was the name. Like, oh God, we got to get a ticket getter. I don't care if he can play basketball, but he gets tickets. Like the '90s Kings would have done something like that.
I was at his workout here, and you didn't get to actually see the workout. You have to wait behind the curtain, and then later they let the media out, and you could just see the smiles on. I think it was maybe both Maloofs were there. One of the Maloofs, I think Gavin and Paul Westfall, and you could see the smiles on their faces. I was like, they're gonna draft this guy.
Yeah,
and sure enough, yeah.
It goes back to when we drafted Bobby Hurley over Vin Baker, and I yelled at Jerry. And anyway, told him the story, and I was late when an adult, but I yelled at him as a kid, like, "What are you doing, Bobby? Really?" It's the name. Anyway. Big names coming in 2025 to Sacramento. The Sacramento Sports Autograph and Sports Card Expo is going to be happening September 26th to the 28th at the grounds in Roseville at the Roeblen Center. So we got the big boy. And I was trying to tell Kyle, trying to explain how big it was. I think it's either 15 or 18 full-size basketball courts. Yeah,
Kyle's hanging out with Kyle Ledbetter.
Me? Hi.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle.
By the way, this guy needs his own. We needed more of this guy on the air because I could nerd out talking to Kyle all day long.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. The more Kyle we can get, I think, to sprinkle him in, the better. But
so what are you suggesting? Like the nerd out hour?
That would be fun. I don't care. I'll come and hang out with him. We could just talk sports all day and have fun. Obscure sports stuff.
This is Tim's weird way of asking me to be his friend.
Yes.
Just a weird roundout way of saying.
It is weird. Yeah.
I am a weird guy, so.
But he's on with Alan Stiles every day.
I know,
every day.
But that's why I need more. I need more.
You need more?
Are your shoulders sore from carrying Alan Stiles every day?
Not yet.
The future coach of the Sacramento Kings, Alan Stiles?
Yeah, future coach. The midday show host at KHTK to Kings head coach pipeline is real now, apparently.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, Doug Christie's the coach of the Kings now. Why can't Whitey be the head coach of the Kings in 3 years?
Like we talked about, it's like the it's better next or good luck Chuck, next up, right?
Have you ever seen this book?
I have not.
Look who wrote it.
This
is a book called The Spurs Dynasty.
I'm in.
And it should be Ann, I think. A historical account of the most successful dynasty in North American pro sports by
Kyle Ledbetter.
That's me.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I have to get that and get you know what? Though I have to probably pay up for the autograph.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can he
With
have
an
that
inscription.
copy?
He can have that copy. I have literally 15 at home. The deal is the press that publishes them just sends them to me every few months if there's extras in storage.
Oh.
So
Are they pre-read though? Because I only like pre-read books.
that one's pre-read.
Then we're
Dave
good.
read the first 3 pages, so it is pre-read at this
It's
point.
who
He
knows
can read.
what if Dave had
Which
it.
He can read. Wow.
Based on your ABA story, one of the stories that I love from the book is that when George Gervin was originally on the Virginia Squires, he got traded for, I think it was like $250,000, and the guy for Virginia said, "I don't want to trade him anymore." He got buyer's remorse like a month later, but they had agreed he wasn't going to go until the All-Star game, and so the Spurs owner sued him, got a judge in San Antonio to rule, "You have to give me George Gervin." And I think at one point threatened federal marshals would pull him off the court if he played for Virginia. That's another crazy ABA
Virginia
story.
Squires, nobody knows who they are. They had some really good players, but they just didn't have them all at the same time.
Yeah.
Julius Erving and Rick Barry. And so anyway, buyer's remorse. And I don't mean to interrupt you because I know you got some important things to talk about. What card that you got rid of left you with the biggest feeling of buyer's remorse? Like, anything?
There were some embossed, 68 embossed. I'm sorry, Decoledge cards, 68 Decoledge. I had almost the full set when I first got back into collecting. It was a way for me to add to my collection, but I had to sell a part of it away. And I look back and go, should not have done that. Should not have done that. I sold them too cheap. Yeah, I sold them too cheap. So
like Pete Rose and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Garen and
Clemente. Those guys, Willie. Just the legends. So kind of dumb looking back, but you learn from those lessons, and you don't make those mistakes again, and you move on. So
one of the things I think you and Imran have told me, if you do that, at some point you can buy it back if you want.
Definitely. And that's like, I sold a Bobby Witt PSA 10 first Bowman auto over the summer I bought. And I was like, I'm never selling this card. And it kind of went up, had some more value than what I paid for it. And, at the time, I'm like, and I sold it. So it's one of those cards I'll go back and reacquire at some point. But yeah, you do feel like that. So
Christopher Ryan, will there be Devin Carter cards on the Kings this year?
Yes. So that's, he should be in hoops in these releases. There's no checklist yet for us to look at. So yeah, I'm hoping that he's going to be in quite a few of the products, and we'll be able to collect him and get him out there, because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for Zach Edey, looking for Bronny James. And honestly, even though he's bouncing around a little bit, they want these new young guys in their NBA uniforms. So
yeah, fans are excited about him.
Yeah,
big ovation last night. And
you know what? Let's just play ball. Like, can you play? Let's do it, right?
Yeah.
Even though he looks like he's about 40, right? Like, I just feel like he looks older than he is, and I don't know, maybe a haircut would help. I don't know, but
personal attack.
Hey,
he just got here.
Hey, listen, let's go. But you came hurt.
Kyle?
You came hurt. You came hurt.
While I disagree with telling someone to cut their hair, I will also say he already has a bald spot at 20 years old.
That's what I'm saying. Let it go. Just shave it. Go Jordan, man. Go with this. Look better. Play better.
He doesn't want to be mistaken for his dad.
Maybe that's true.
But does his dad also have a bald spot?
His dad has bald.
No hair.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So it's in the cards. But the 2025 Sacramento Autograph and Sports Card Expo, September 26th to the 28th, the grounds in Roosevelt, the big Roeblen Center. It's like 15 or 18 full-size basketball courts. We're gonna have all kinds of stuff going on.
That's where the show was last spring, right?
We were at the Jones Hall though, so it's about the Jones Hall. I would say is maybe a 6th or 8th the size of this place. I mean,
seriously,
it's gigantic. This thing it's a beast. We're going to have, 400 dealer tables or so. We're still trying to figure out how many we can put in there, but it's going to be quite a few. We're going to have a lot of autograph guests, and some of the names, like the name, we'll say a name and the next name's better. And these are some of the all-time greats that we're talking about. So hopefully we'll get them in. We're going to get some local guys in too.
Look, last year was tremendous. I don't know what it did compared to what you expected. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
But the names were, rest in peace. Ricky.
Yeah.
Frank Thomas.
By the way, he was the nicest dude and seemed to be great. I mean, we were in Tampa 4 weeks ago, and he was supposed to be there and he was sick. And then this happened. We were like, blown away by it. We had Manziel, Rodman. We had just those names will be like second tier to some of the names we're talking about right now. Just to give you an idea, that those names would be below the names the guys we're talking about right now.
Seriously?
Yeah. So yeah, if this will be great.
Will Kyle Ledbetter be there?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
I have a fee, but I plan to be there.
Signing his
He is a
book.
fee. Yes, signing his book. We also, Imran talked about, he was at the Fanatics Fest, and they had interactive things with some of the athletes. Like you could throw the ball with Gronk or stuff like that. He's talking about doing like shoot-arounds with some of these legends or, like meetup sessions. So I don't know what that looks like. We're just in the infancy of all of this. But be ready. 2025 Sacramento Autograph Expo is going to be wild here. And I can't wait to be a part of it.
30 autograph guests?
That's
30?
the number Imran said, which, knowing him over 3 days, we could do. And like,
that's 10 a day if my math is correct.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it is. So we'll see what happens with that. But, we were talking to guys in Tampa, and, some Hall of Famers were like, yeah, and you have the show. And they came and tracked us down and said, hey, can we come? And it's like,
really?
You're a Hall of Fame baseball pitcher that's won World Series. And you're asking, he won 3 World Series with 3 different teams, 1980s, and he could have been played by Tom Selleck in the 80s if you had a movie about him.
I was going to say Keith Hernandez, but not a pitcher.
Yeah.
But looks like Tom Selleck.
Looks like kind of like Tom Selleck.
In the 80s.
Lighter hair than Tom Selleck, though. Yeah, big time.
Not Jack Morris.
Yeah.
Was it?
Jack Morris.
Wow.
Like we're in the restroom. I'm like, hey, you're Jack Morris. He goes, yeah. I said, dude, we'd love to have you at our show in Sacramento. He goes, okay. When? I said, in September. He goes, okay. I said, I'll talk to my guy. I said, we're cool. We're True Sports Cards around the corner, and we'll talk. Next thing I know, I'm at the table. Here's Jack dragging his guy across, and they're like, hey, when can we come? Like, ooh, that was fast.
Nice.
So, that's what's happening. So it's going to be fun. We'll see what happens. Don't know if he's going to be there. Can't guarantee you that, but we're working on it.
Both he and Tom Selleck wore tiger hats.
The tiger hats, right? Yeah. So the mustache, the 80s mustache, right? Like famously. So it's going to be fun. A lot of work, but I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to start announcing. Things are going to be happening for the show. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, fun. You've got a lot of time to gear up for it.
Yes, which is good. So it's a good spot, and also too through the summer, a lot of these guys travel and do the big shows like the National Fanatics Fest. So September helps us out to be able to do that as well.
There'll be baseball going on then, pennant race baseball, and
maybe our Sacramento A's will be in the playoffs.
Maybe.
Yeah, but then they're going to take the playoff game to another city.
No.
They're going to do a traveling road show of playoff games.
That's not fair. That's just mean.
We'll see.
I get it.
The part I thought was crazy was I don't remember which person from the A's literally said at Severino's press conference, our goal is to put baseball in the awkward position of what to do if we make the playoffs.
I think it was David Forst,
yeah,
the GM.
Someone said it out loud. I was like, I can't believe they're actually saying that.
Yeah.
Like we want to make the playoffs because baseball won't know where to put us.
Tim, I ask this all the time. I know I've asked this a million times, but I'm wondering, are you starting at the store to feel any sort of sense of anticipation, excitement about I know it's going to be there. Yeah. Are you sensing it yet?
Not quite yet, but we've talked to some people that have locked in some tickets and they're very excited for it. I think, Sacramento, we're going to show out. I mean, we showed out for the Surge and the Mountain Lions and the Gold Miners. And there was when I first moved here in the 90s, there was an arena football team and I can't remember their name.
Sack Attack?
The Sack Attack. Was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll show out for you give us any professional sport. Like if we had professional lacrosse in Sacramento, we would all learn lacrosse tomorrow.
Yeah. The Gold Miners were a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. They won a title too. They won a title with David Archer one year.
That I think
or was it you
the Surge?
The Surge.
That came. I'm sorry. They lost the championship game to the Orlando
Renegades.
Thunder with Scott Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were good.
But I thought the Sacramento won a football championship at one point.
Maybe Sacramento Gold Miners, I think they were, they were one of the American teams in the CFL. And it seemed at the time like the Canadian referees and officials did not want an American team to do well.
Yeah. So, and then Baltimore Colts, remember that? They had, or Stallions, I think, whatever they
yeah.
The good old days. But I can tell you, Sacramento shows out for sports, and the A's will be well loved here. So, and I see there's a question about the Ripley and the Razor Ramon downtown. I'm not sure. I'd call, and the shop is open, 916-259-1993. AJ and Donovan are there. I'd reach out to them to see if those cards are still there. Things move pretty quick in store, but there's a good chance those are still hanging around. So, Val, if you want to reach out at the shop, the guys are there. We're open every day. Well, people are amazed that we're open every day, by the way, which I think is weird.
I am.
We were open New Year's Day all day, 11 to 7.
Yeah,
There's
I
other
know.
places closed. People call. We got 25 phone calls. Are you? Yeah, I'm here. Come see me.
Yes.
Let's hang out.
And I was surprised there were so many people. And I mentioned that to Emmer, and I think I kind of offended him. He's like, well, you're surprised there's people in the store. This is a good store. I was like, I know, but it's New Year's Day.
Oh, if we're buying them. Yeah, bring them. Possibly, Val. I'll reach out to you. The great thing about it is that on New Year's Day, like the first hour, Emmer and I were all alone. We're like, oh, it was a bad thing to be open. But about noon to close, it was gangbusters. It was crazy. The two of us worked the day, and it was like, oh, yeah, okay. It was worth us being here and having a good day. So it was fun to. Everybody just got a little bit of a late start. So definitely, we got a bunch to talk about this week. You know, we had fun with Jerry, but last year,
yeah,
a lot of stuff happened.
We just touched on that a little bit last week, and then once we had Jerry on, everything got kind of pushed back.
Got it.
So.
It's a great Jerry Reynolds. Like I listened to that twice. Just
really?
Just because I love. I can listen. Yeah, he's so awesome. Nicest man as well. Like just sweet.
Right. And he's a guy who loves to talk about past basketball.
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of, in a way, the late great Pete Rose. Pete Rose would do interviews, and he just like, okay, I love talking baseball.
Yeah.
And Jerry's that way about basketball.
Yeah.
If you're really talking basketball, he loves to get into it.
Yeah, it's great, and he's lived an amazing life, and it's just the stories he's probably forgotten that were gold. You know, like he's just so much basketball he's lived. I mean, it's been his entire life. So
what was your favorite product? Your favorite product? Tim Shepler's favorite product?
My favorite product every
2024. Four.
I always go like the only thing I ever really open is Topps flagship stuff. The base cards, because that's what we open as kids. But I would have to say that this year one of my favorite product is Bowman Draft, and it's always expensive.
It's another paper product, right?
Paper. There's a lot of paper, but there's also chrome in there because you get the chrome autographs.
But you don't open the chrome. That's interesting.
Yeah, I buy the cards, but the paying. For me, because I'm cheap, paying $8-10 for a pack of 4 cards or buying a hobby box. I like to just, there's certain guys I collect, and I collect Hall of Famers, so I don't open a ton of stuff. But Bowman Draft's one of my favorites, and this year it was really nice because the class is deep, so we don't quite know who the superstars are going to be. We have the idea that Bonanza, I think is how you say the first pick that went to the Guardians, and then Caglione for the Royals, who was like the 5th or 6th pick. He's a hitter and a pitcher. They don't know what he's going to be, but I'm a Royals guy. So, but the fact is, like, there isn't a superstar, but it's a deep draft. A lot of ability to get good cards and good guys out of there.
Here's another question.
Plus, you get to watch them through the prospect.
Yeah. So if I get a card for one of these guys and it's their first card, but it's not their rookie card, right? So it's a first, first on it. What if, and these were some of the cards I picked up this week at your store. It was like Fernando Tatis wasn't his first, but it wasn't his rookie card. It's kind of in that weird in-between period where he hadn't been brought up yet. Yeah. Do those have any extra value other than sentimental?
Some. The numbered stuff, the colored parallels do really well. They're just considered like a prospect card.
Yeah.
But yeah, for people like for player collectors or team collectors, those are super important cards, good cards to have in your collection. They do just, if you're looking just straight monetary value, they're going to fall below the first card, the Bowman cards that say first, or the Topps rookie cards, just because they have those designations on them.
Sure.
But there's sometimes those parallels, even like unnumbered parallels, still carry a nice little value to them and aren't very, very sought after. But also too, you're getting them in action photos of them actually playing. And so they tend to have better photography than some of the first Bowman, because a lot of that stuff's airbrushed, or it's photos of them kind of like in a staged photo type thing. So they don't always have the best eye appeal.
Gotcha.
And some people enjoy the way a card actually looks versus what it's actually worth.
Mm-hmm. So you're really old school.
Yeah.
You like Topps baseball.
I'm just I'm a purist. Like, just give me the simple, like, peanut butter and jelly sandwich I'm good with. I don't have to have the tomahawk steak.
I think you have some Series 2 hobby boxes still in your store.
We do. We have a Series 2 hobby, like around 150. We have jumbos in under.
I've been keeping an eye on those.
270, somewhere in there. Yeah. But jumbo's always nice because you're getting an auto and a couple of relics and some extra box toppers. So that's always fun to open. When you get extra little bonuses, it's always nice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what was your most surprising product of 2024? Four.
Topps Chrome Update. And it's Topps Chrome Update. People that are just new to the hobby don't realize that a handful of years ago, 18, 19, 20, this was a retail only product. You could only buy at Target in like a mega box style, like 8-10 packs. It was the only way to get. They didn't have a hobby release of it. They didn't sell it at Walmart. They didn't sell it at Kroger. They didn't sell it at any other Ace Hardware, wherever other people are going to find in cards. But they now made it a hobby product, and they put those MLB debut patches in there. And holy moly. Like, I know Emran's talked about this. We've talked about this week over week, how expensive those boxes have become. I mean, a hobby box started at $250, and now they're close to $450, $500. Jumbo is probably close to $800 to $900 at the moment. And that's been my most surprising product, that's been released. And I understand the chase and all the bounty and everything for the Skeens card, but to me, I haven't seen the people that don't like baseball or buying these boxes to open them to chase this card.
Really?
Yeah. And and to me, it's like somebody asked me why we didn't have a hobby box packed out, and I said, well, would you want to pay $30 for a pack of 4 cards? Well, maybe not, but maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that lotto ticket, like, we just had that big, was it the Mega Millions or whatever it was? And that, the person hit, that's what they're looking for, is like, hey, I could spend $30, but I could win $1 million.
Did you see the announcement from Topps yesterday on the guy in Dallas?
I did not.
Collector in Dallas pulled the Shohei Ohtani Dynasty Black 1/1 embedded with relics of the pants and batting gloves he wore the day he hit his 50th home run.
Oh, wow.
Topps announced on social media yesterday afternoon. So the card comes from a Topps special release set dubbed Shohei Ohtani 50/50, highlighted by that card, which is considered one of the top chases from the set.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Like, that's something, like, usually sometimes when they do these standalone releases where it's a player driven release, it's hot in the moment and it's quickly forgotten. I don't think this 50/51 is like that, based on some of the stuff that they've put in here that he was actually using during the time of this chase and getting to 50/50. Like, some people think, like the old heads, the old guys, the unks, as the kids call us, remember when Canseco got 40/40, what that meant. Like, that was nuts. Like, oh, he is a superhuman. And now to think of a guy as big and tall as Shohei is doing 50/50 and swiping 50 bases, and when no one steals bases anymore, like in the 80s, at least people were stealing bases. Some teams probably steal 50 bases.
Well, now they've set up the rules so it's easier to steal bases,
which is fun, and I'm good. I'm glad with that. Like,
I'm an unk. I don't like that.
Let's bring back stealing cool. Like, let's make stealing cool again, as long as it's bases and not baseball cards, right?
Yes. So, but let's not pretend like what Ohtani did is as impressive as what Lou Brock or somebody did when it was a lot harder to steal bases. But I know no one wants to hear that.
I know, but sometimes we have to. Yeah.
Or let me go with a guy that you would appreciate, Willie Wilson.
There we go, my friend Willie Wilson. Yeah, one of the best base stealers.
By the way, Ohtani's most expensive card of all time, 2018 Bowman Chrome Rookie Autographs Orange Refractors, numbered to 25, graded BGS 10 Black Label, which sold for $533,140, and the highest sale of any Ohtani 101, 2018 Topps Chrome Sapphire Superfractor Autograph, $336,000.
Yeah. I don't why they didn't put the Bowman Superfractor that was sold, I believe, out of Sacramento, pulled in Sacramento at another shop. One of our buddies had, and that did quite well when it sold as well. But the hobby hadn't taken that hype because he sold it during, I think, at the end of the 18 season. So it wasn't like the wildness it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It was all pre-pandemic stuff, but that was pretty cool. So.
All right. So Shep is not a big Chrome guy.
I like shiny. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm sitting to open it, like I like I said, the Bowman draft, I think, is one of my favorite, just because the depth of the class and the ability. You're gonna have to wait 4 or 5 years for these guys to hit, and so now you have a good opportunity to sit down and maybe collect a few of these guys and take your chances. And you could root for them as they make their way through the minors. It's kind of fun to do, and maybe your guy will hit, or maybe your guy won't, and you'll end up with. There was a guy that I thought, Manny Margot, thought he was going to be a superstar.
Manuel Margot.
My brother bought his jersey when he was in San Diego.
Traded by the Red Sox to the Padres.
Yeah, and I
might have been in the big first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez trade.
I think that was involved. Yeah, and he had like a super minor league all-star game. And then he got traded after that, and I was like, dude, that's the guy. He can hit for power, and he's got fast, and he does defense. Like,
He's pretty good.
Yeah, but he didn't turn.
Hounds lefties, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be like the next, superstar, and did not pan out. But hey,
You were close, Whitey. So on November 13, 2015.
Was it the Rizzo trade?
Huh?
Which trade was it?
It was not Rizzo. It was the Padres acquired Manuel Margot, Javi Guerra, who I think is a pitcher now somewhere. He was a shortstop at the time. Carlos Asuaje and Logan Allen from the Red Sox for Craig Kimbrell.
Oh, okay.
Kimbrel.
Thank you.
Weird pitcher.
My mistake.
Yeah.
What was the most whelming product of the year, and what does that even mean, Tim?
I meant to put underwhelming.
Because I asked when I got this last week, I asked Emran about, I don't know if it's underwhelming or overwhelming, and he thought that was intentional and that whelming is a thing.
No, I meant to put underwhelming.
Okay.
But when you're typing, yeah. So underwhelming product, I would have to say, I'm just going to blanket statement: the 23 football products. We had, you have a great class of quarterback, but none of them have autos in the product, and unfortunately, that's what drives, product in 24. And it's just, you had the lack. I mean, it's kind of 23 and the 24 class because all the football product came out in 24, but for the 23 season.
Mm-hmm.
So not having Stroud or Bryce Young, or even going into 24 and having May or Williams or Daniels, all those big products were just, because now you're chasing like tight ends and receivers and running backs. And it's like, yeah, they're okay. But long-term, and we've seen in the hobby, even at their peak, they're just kind of afterthoughts. And it's always about the quarterback, which is not, I don't like. I think it's silly that we just ignore every other position in football collecting except for the quarterback.
Isn't that why, in a sense, from the math perspective, basketball is your best bet because there's fewer guys?
Yeah.
So you got a better chance of getting the bigger name.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, so far. And baseball has a lot more, it's not as top heavy. Like you have Ohtani and some of those, like it's very few, like very elite players, but that next tier of guys is very thick.
Right.
There's a lot of guys in that tier.
And there's a lot of guys that look initially like he's going to be a guy, and he ends up being, he had a nice career.
And with baseball, you also have the prospects. So you have years of development where they have cards, and now the NIL is kind of helping that out with, and that's been a little bit slower as the collegiate uniforms, because we all have that, they're in their collegiate uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They never sell well once they go pro. So it's kind of getting in that mindset of like, well, these are kind of like the Bowman cards, and people are starting to kind of understand that, I think. But yeah, I would say just the football product in general, when you're missing the chase guys' autographs, it just makes for a lackluster excitement over products like used to be. Like Prism football, and that would drop. Oh yeah, like awesome, because they're going to have the guys. Panini can't get those guys now because Fanatics is outbidding them, and it's kind of like, cool, I got a parallel. That's what I can chase.
The Panini fruit is slowly withering.
Yeah, the grapes are turning into raisins.
The tree will be dead.
Yeah.
Mine would, and we talked about this a little bit last week when Emran was here. Most underwhelming product of the year. Not a big NBA Monopoly guy.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, I don't think I am, you get a blaster. There's not even necessarily an insert in each pack, which is the case with other, regular Prism blasters. And a lot of people I know had fun with it, but I just think they kind of capitalized on the Wemby mania with that. And I stayed clear of it. Maybe I missed some nice cards, but I just stayed clear of that.
I agree with you there. I mean, they're cool, and it's the parallels are what I would say the most collectible, but the base out of there, unfortunately, are just, and they were real hot, and it's that thing in the moment we get the FOMO, like, God, everybody's after these, I got to go get them. But once you do, it's kind of like empty calories. It's like, yeah, that bag of chips was tasty, but at the end of you kind of feel gross and kind of ashamed a little bit maybe. But the reason people buy the Monopoly Prism is because they can't afford to go buy a Monopoly or a regular Prism hobby box, because those are $1,000. Like, okay, who has
if you enjoy it and it's fun, great.
Yeah, but like the normal collector isn't the average guy, and that's what I look at. Most people working kids aren't rolling around with $1,000 just to drop on a hobby box.
Not everybody is Kyle Ledbetter.
That's what you're writing saying. Books and living on the royalties, right?
Yes, making lots of money from talking sports on the radio and writing books.
He does this for fun. This is his he does his pro bono. Like, this is his charity work, right?
It sure feels like it at times. I'll tell you that.
You two work for him, right? No. But no, it's just
Wow.
no, and I understand the Prism stuff. Like it's fun, and like I think some of the parallels are neat. But again, it's when
Why
you have
is it
something
that Prism has this aura, this
shiny. It's the shiny. It's
but and I mean, it doesn't bother me. They're nice cards, but to me, there's other ones that I think are maybe a little nicer, just as nice. But yet, Prism is just on.
Yeah, that's why I think Phoenix Football is one of the prettiest products. A foil board card, and it has like a lot of color to it. But they couldn't inflate the prices high enough to make it like I don't get it. They look great, but they don't sell for a darn on the secondary market. I can't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just snootiness of like, oh, that's
the reputation and the history of the brand.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have, but again, none of these Panini products have a big legacy. Most of them are maybe 10 years at this point. I don't know. So it's just kind of people get stuck in there like, like I'm a Starbucks guy, right? So I guess like once you pick, like, are you a Rayleigh? Like I remember when I was a kid, I worked at Lucky. Like you either shopped at Lucky grocery store, you shopped at Rayleigh's in Folsom, and it was like a thing. Like you were the Lucky guy or a Rayleigh. And
team Lucky or Team Rayleigh,
right? And now I think that some people are just kind of stuck in like, hey, Prism's the standard. That's that's our mentality until someone big tries to change it. I don't. Maybe I can be the influencer to change everyone's mind.
Do we know, is Panini, after they lose the license, are they still gonna produce cards?
I don't know
licensed
what they could do, because they won't be able to use the NBA logos, and they won't be able to use current players that are with the CBA because they have the Players Association as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a workaround so players can opt in to work with Panini, because I know Bobby Witt does some stuff with Panini currently, but they don't have the active players license to be able to do baseball card, with active players with the it's kind of a unicorn situation there where he's such a hot topic that maybe he was able to sign a deal on his own to be on their product, but we'll see what happens. They do a lot of stuff with retired players like legends and Hall of Famers. So maybe that's what they'll do. We'll see, but it'll be tough because like right now their baseball product is really hard to open because it's a bunch of like prospects or guys that are retired. So the current collector opens it and goes, huh? Who's Larry Walker?
You mentioned
who's prospect ABC? Like, who's prospect Robbie Jones? Like, I don't know.
Phoenix, and my son-in-law recently, he was somewhere and he saw a Phoenix blaster and he got it for us. Hey, you want to open it? Which was really cool. I appreciated that, but I got a Bob Pettit card and I didn't know how to feel about this.
Yeah.
I don't have a Bob Pettit card, but Bob Pettit, what?
Like, yeah, like I knew who Hawks legend Bob Pettit is from the St. Louis Hawks.
Yeah.
But, and some people do think, thankfully for NBA 2K, with all of these old player cards and stuff and the games that they can play, that they know the names of these guys, which is good because it's something. But they don't understand like how important some of these players were to the sport that they played in. Like they when JJ Redick called Bob Cousy plumber and no, you were the plumber, JJ. Let's just say if you played the NBA back then with like Bob, you would have been the plumber on the, Right. Let's be honest, bud. But
right.
So it's when it's like, yeah, it's cool, but at the same time, like I don't know what they'll do. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know what though?
They're probably gonna
I'm kind of happy about it, just because of the way they've done the hobby community since about 2000 and
kind of slipshod with production and matters. Like
and then they just didn't. At a certain point, they used to care in the early. When I got back in 2012-ish, that realm, they cared about the collector. And I feel like as they got bigger and their profits grew, it's like, oh, we could put less in and make more money. We could water these products down, and let's do that. And let's not return calls. Let's not give good customer service like we previously did, because we don't have to because they're buying more of it. And the meaner we are to them, it's like the mean boy, like the guy that's mean to the girl, like the bad boy. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. And the collector's like, yeah, we want you more now. That's
not healthy, Chef.
It's not. And that's what I'm telling these collectors. You abuse collectors. Stop it. But, hey, they lost it. We'll see what happens when Fanatics owns all of it. And
I got a Fanatics question
for
you. I know it may be sensitive because you're, in the business and you sell these products. I'm in your store and I'm looking at all the supplies. You got the boxes and you got sleeves and you got Fanatics sleeves.
Yep.
And I happened to be looking at it and Emran said, people seem to like those. I'm like, what possibly could be different about a Fanatics sleeve? What is a Fanatics? Why is Fanatics making sleeves now?
They're trying to touch every possible way of sports in America. I mean, you buy anything from a team store or you buy anything online, it's coming from Fanatics. Even though you saw some of the Christmas mistakes, like the Lions-Eagles jersey. I don't know if you saw that, where they had a Lions jersey and the nameplate in the front said Eagles was sewn on, or Jason Kelce, it was a jersey and Kelce was sewed upside down, or they had a basketball jersey on the front, it was 13, on the back it was 31. Some production errors there, but they're trying to, they got into sports cards.
It did catch my eye though. Oh, Fanatics.
They started. We bought a sampling of all of their offerings for us as a hobby shop, and to put the product out. So we're like, hey, order a box of everything. We'll see how they sell. What I liked is they had a 100 pack of top loaders for a great price. I think it was like $18 for 100 top loaders. That's a good deal. And they're this similar quality to Ultra Pro. I would say there's nothing quite different about them, but it's just a different SKU in the market. And
it's their brand.
Yeah, it's their brand. And as a hobby shop and we do business with them, we try to give them as much if they're going to offer it to the same as we can buy Ultra Pro for, why not? Because we want to show, hey, we want more boxes.
Yeah.
So we'll buy supplies from you if you can give us some more hobby boxes or some more blasters, because we love that. So it's kind of like, we'll scratch your back and buy these supplies. You scratch ours and hook us up with some more product, and maybe that works out. But I've been happy with it. I put all the SKUs out. All of our supplies got redone on New Year's Day when we had a little downtime. So you'll see that selections expanded a little bit over the last week.
I saw you slaving away, and then you took a moment, like you say, to watch the football game, and everyone's like, what are you doing?
Then,
your job's not done. You don't have time to watch football. I'm not paying you to watch football. It was a little embarrassing.
Yeah, he threw his size 2 Jordan at me, and, I grabbed it with my thumb and index finger and handed it back to him. But no, it was, he had working away, but it was good. Got to, reorganize and put some stuff out we haven't had before. And we've blown through all the Fanatics top loaders. So we're going to put some more orders in.
Okay. Yeah. So they're popular.
Yep.
Oh, we only have a couple minutes left, but you may have mentioned it already. I'm guessing you did. Most sought after product of the year was
the Topps Chrome update, and still is. And we haven't had in the shop here for a week or so. And the reason being, and I think Emron said this before, it's just our cost is over $800 for like a jumbo box right now. We were selling those at $450 on release day. Our cost is over $800. And the thing is, I think we talked about this too. It's just a strategic thing on our hand. We've sold a lot of it. We've been trying to buy the mega boxes, the Topps Chrome update mega boxes, and they're at like $125 in the shop, and they sell pretty quickly. But once that skeins gets pulled, the bottom drops out, and then we're stuck now with a box we paid over $800 for that's not worth that in the market, and we don't want to put that on our customer and put that money to other better uses, as all the basketball products are starting to come out. So I think we've run our course as far as hobby and jumbos on that. We'll try to keep the retail in stock. And
Shep, it's funny because to that point, we were talking with Emron about that last week, and I mentioned, no one's pulled that card yet. And he said, not that we know of. And I was like, I didn't think of that.
I really believe
that
someone might actually have this card and they're negotiating, because there has been so much of it open.
Yeah.
That for the fact of it, are we waiting for Charlie to open that last chocolate bar and get the last one? So we'll see what happens. It's one of the things I'm looking for in 2025. So hopefully it'll happen soon. We'll find out, because there's a lot of big cards missing. The LeBron, Curry, Durant, triple 101 auto still has not surfaced. There's a Brady 12 out of 50 Chrome auto that's not surfaced. There's a huge bounty on. There's a lot of big bounty cards that have not been found, at least announced that they've been found.
My most highly anticipated card in the new year will be the Roki Sasaki rookie card with hopefully San Diego. Who knows where he's going to go? How about you? Harder product.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what Topps or Fanatics does with their first football and baseball or basketball products that are licensed this upcoming year for the 25 season. I want to see how they can actually dominate with a licensed product and how crazy those prices and how those cards will sell. The anticipation, I think, is going to be crazy.
By the way, the Cosmic Chrome basketball, I know it's not licensed yet. Got some of those. Emron gave me some of those. That's a fun rip, but I went back and they were all gone. You guys didn't have any more.
So we sold cases quickly.
Really?
Quickly. They were one of the hottest products, the Cosmic stuff for baseball too. We're selling that like $600 a box, and it's flying.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Good
so
stuff.
Again, bottom line, to at least do today, maybe tomorrow, not sure, you can get to True Sports Cards, take advantage of the 75% off in the hot corner.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I did it, and it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun out there, and come down and see us. I'm going to head to the shop here in a few, but Donovan and AJ are there. So 6661 Stanford Ranch, Rockland.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Donovan. Hey, AJ. Thank you, Kyle Ledbetter.
Yes, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah. What do we have coming up, Kyle?
Infinity Sports Radio.
Infinity Sports Radio is next. Thank you, Shep.
Thank
See
you.
you soon. Happy New Year from True Sports Cards. We'll talk to you next week.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the